Take a look at this. Most people think a dashboard is just about displaying numbers. It's not. A dashboard is about answering the question, are we winning or losing? If I just tell you we made $125,000 this month, that number is meaningless on its own. As analysts, we need to provide context. Is that good? Is that bad? Did we crash compared to last month? Did we miss our target? And that is exactly why I love this specific layout. It prioritizes context over clutter. I like it because it doesn't force you to do the math in your head. It immediately anchors every single metric against two critical benchmarks: performance versus previous period and performance versus budget. At a glance, those green and red indicators tell you the entire story. You don't need to hunt for the problems. The dashboard highlights them for you. It turns raw data into instant business intelligence. For senior management or business owners, this is the ultimate morning coffee view. They don't want to sift through rows of transaction logs. They want to know, where do we stand right now? And because we are building this with a dynamic time switcher, allowing you to toggle from a monthly tactical view to a year-to-date strategic view with one click. This is the kind of deliverable that gets you noticed. It's clean, it's professional, and it solves a real business problem. So let's stop talking about it and let me show you exactly how to build it. All right, let's prepare our data foundation. Now, it's crucial to understand. For this tutorial, we'll create a simplified fictional data set. We are doing this so we can focus purely on the dashboard's design, formula mechanics, and visual presentation without getting sidetracked by complex data preparation, which in itself is a significant and extensive topic. In a real-life scenario, your data would typically be much more complex. It wouldn't arrive perfectly summarized. You'd likely be dealing with raw transactional data, multiple sources, data cleaning, and transformation. So while our data here is going to be simple, the dashboard design principles we are learning are robust and universally applicable. Once your real-world data is prepared, think of this tutorial as mastering the display layer of your data analysis. With that important disclaimer in mind, let's create our 3 simple fictional data sheets in a brand new workbook. Open your Excel or Google Sheets and let's begin by renaming our first sheet to current period data. So call this current_period_data. In current period data, we need 2 columns. A will be for the KPI name and B will be for value. Let's have that adjusted like so and formatted to make it look neat. In column A, starting from A2, type these specific commonly used KPI names. So we've got total revenue, customer acquisitions, average order value, conversion rate, new customers, customer retention rate, cost per unit, and total transactions. Now for the value column in B2, let's enter these fictional current period numbers like we currently have. We've got this value for total revenue, this for customer acquisitions, and so on. Next, click the plus icon to add a new sheet, and we have that named previous_period_data. So previous period data. Copy the KPI name column in the first sheet and have it pasted in the previous data sheet right in column A as well. And we need a value column, so value. Let's give it the same formatting. For the values, I'm going to enter these numbers. Have that formatted We give it the same formatting. I'd like to add borders as well to make everything neat. Finally, add one more sheet and rename it budget data. Again, copy your KPI name column from either the first two sheets. So let's copy the two so we don't waste time formatting again. But we're going to have these values replaced with something else. Excellent. Our core data is now perfectly structured for this tutorial. This precise setup will make connecting our dashboard data a breeze as we move forward. Let's move to our main dashboard canvas. Add a new sheet by clicking the plus icon again and rename it Business Dashboard. First, let's set the overall look and feel. Select the entire sheet by clicking the gray square at the intersection of row 1 and column A. Go to Fill Color and choose a dark gray. For precision, I'm going to select more colors and use this X code 222222. Now, for our elegant main title banner, select and merge cells A1 through P1. So let's have that merged. Fill these merged cells with our signature deep burgundy. So go to Fill Color again and use the X code 990033. Inside this banner, type Business Performance Overview. Set the font color to white. Make it bold and increase the font size to 24 points. And make sure it's center aligned vertically and horizontally for a perfect title presentation. I think I'm going to go with the font type Sego UI bold. Next, let's design a navigation or filter bar. Select cells A3 through P3 and fill it with a slightly darker gray to differentiate it from the background. Let's add our 3 active filter buttons within this bar. We'll create visual representations of these buttons. So merge cells B3 to D3 for this month. We're going to have this field with a lighter gray to indicate it's the active selection. I'll have the font color set to white. Make it bold. It's already center aligned. And let's use the font type Sego UI bold. So if you're using Sego UI bold, we necessarily don't have to make it bold because that will already make it bold. For last quarter, merge cells E3 to G3. Have it filled with dark gray. Type last quarter. We give the font color white and use the font type Sego UI bold. And for the previous period, merge cells H3 to J3. Fill it with the same dark gray color. Type previous period. And let's copy the same formatting we used for last quarter for that. Fantastic. Our headers and navigation are now visually set. Now, for the main content area, which will house a 4-column 2-row layout, select cells A5 through P19. Fill this area with a clean, crisp white. So go to Fill Color and let's use the X code FFFFFF. That's 6 Fs. And click OK. To give it a neat defined border, with A5 to P19 still selected, go to Borders and choose the thick outside borders. But we want the border color to be medium gray. So let's scroll down to the line color, more colors, and let's have the RGB set to 100. So red is set to 100, green is set to 100, B is set to 100. That's going to give us a light gray outline. Click OK. This is what we get with that. Our perfectly sized canvas is now ready for our 6 KPIs and 2 charts. It's looking clean and professional already. Let's begin with our top left card, total revenue. This will be a blueprint for the entire dashboard. So we'll go through every step in detail. We'll use a clean dark card design. So select cells B6 through D11, like so. Fill these cells with a dark gray using the X code 333333. Click OK. Apply a subtle white border to this card to make it stand out against the background. So we want a white border. I'll go to the line color and have the RGB adjusted. So this is what we have. A subtle white border has been added using this X code. And I decided to make the line style the thick one. So I went with this one. That's how we are able to achieve what we have. Now, for the KPI title, in cell B7, type total revenue. Make the text color white. The font type is Sego UI bold. So Sego UI bold. The font size is okay as it is. And leave it aligned left. Next, the big number, our current period's total revenue value. This will dynamically pull from our current period data sheet. So in cell B9, type the formula equals the current period data sheet cell B2 in our B9. Now let's format B9 to make it stand out. Right click on cell B9, choose format cells. So we're going to be using our local currency symbol, e.g. dollars, and we have the decimal places set to 0. Click OK. Then set the font to white. Change the font type to Sego UI bold or Sego UI black. Have the font size increased to maybe 20 points and have it left aligned. For that special touch, set its font color to a striking burgundy. So click on the font color again, more colors, custom, and we want to have this changed to 153, green changed to 0, and blue changed to 51. Let's add our comparison labels. In cell B10, type versus previous period. And in B11, type versus budget. Set both to a lighter gray font using this X code. 180 for red, 180 for green, and 180 for blue. We're going to give that the font type Sego UI and make sure it's left aligned. We can reduce the font size to maybe 10. Now, for the actual variance values, this will show us the absolute and percentage differences. For the absolute difference versus the previous period, type equals the current period data B2 minus the previous period data B2. Press enter. And for the percentage difference in cell D10, type equals current period data B2 minus previous period data B2. Add an opening and closing parenthesis to that and have it divided by the previous period data B2. Now for budget. In cell C11, for the absolute difference, type equals current period data B2 minus budget data B2. And for the percentage difference in cell D11, type equals current period data B2 minus budget data B2, add the opening and closing brackets, and have that divided by the budget data B2, which I think we're in already. Then press enter. Time for precise formatting. For cells C10 and C11, the absolute differences. Format them as currency with 0 decimal places. For cells D10 and D11, the percentage differences. Format them as percentages with 1 decimal place. So, percentage, and we want it to have 1 decimal place. So let's have them all formatted by giving it a white font. And let's give the font type Sego UI, just to make it uniform. And now, for the game changer, conditional formatting. This is where our dashboard truly becomes dynamic and provides instant insights. Select cell C10, go to conditional formatting, new rule. For the first row, choose cell value greater than 0. Click the Format button. We want to choose the font color green using this Xcode. Click OK. Go with the font style bold and click OK. OK again. We're going to add a second rule for C10. So go back to conditional formatting, new rule. Format only cells that contain. This time, the rule is when the cell value is less than 0. Format it red. So let's have red picked by using this Xcode. Click OK. Make sure the font style is bold and click OK again. Now repeat this exact 2 rules for cell C11. Next, select cell D10. Repeat the green or red font conditional formatting as we just did for the absolute values. Then, with D10 still selected, go back to conditional formatting. Icon sets. Choose the 3 arrows colored set. This will automatically add up or down or side arrows based on positive or negative or 0 values, giving you a powerful visual cue. Finally, repeat both the green or red font rules and the icon set rule for D11. But we need to make sure that the rule for the icons are properly set, because the icon for -3.2 should be showing something else, not the upward arrow. So let's go back to conditional formatting. Manage rules. This is the rule we want to manage. So click Edit Rule. What are we saying here? To make sure we get a downward red arrow for negative figures, I'm going to have the type changed to numbers. With that, we get a green upward arrow when the value is greater than 0. This is optional, and this automatically would give us a downward red arrow when the value is less than 0. That is a minus. Apply and click OK. And that would give us days. Let's quickly have the same rule applied for D10. So manage rule. We want to have this rule edited. Have this changed to number, so that for each time we get a positive figure, we get the upward facing green arrow. If it's negative, we get this. So OK, apply, OK. Now, we've built our first perfectly formatted dynamic KPI card. This is the most detailed step. And now, we'll fly through the rest by copying and customizing this structure. You'll be a pro at copying and customizing by the end of this. So with our first card perfected, let's replicate it for the remaining KPIs in our top row. Select the entire total revenue card, that is B6 to D11. Make sure you select all the cells within the dark gray box. Copy it, then click on cell F6, which is the top left corner for our next card, and have it pasted. I will have this closed up a bit so we have spaces in between, serving as dividers. So the space between here is 20.36. Let's make sure we get the same for here to make it uniform. Oh no, so this should have been 20.36, not that. So this is 20.36. We'll have that adjusted to 20.36 and leave this at 9.55. This is going to be for our next KPI, which is customer acquisitions. So let's have it formatted. Change the title total revenue to customer acquisitions. For the main value in F9, update the formula to point to our next KPI in our data, current period data, which is cell B3. So I'm going to have this updated to B3. Is that what we have? Yes, that's what we have. We can have that closed up a bit so we don't have too much space between the $ and the figure. So the same formatting would apply. The font color will remain burgundy and the decimal places is still set as 0. Now let's update the comparison formulas by changing the row reference from B2 to B3. This was set to B2. We want to have it replaced with B3. So it's B3 for the current period data and also B3 for the previous period data. And I think I had missed the spelling for previous here. So let me quickly correct that. You shouldn't be having misspellings. Previous is spelled Previous. Small letter. Yep, I think we're good. So we're going to be updating the comparisons in all 3 sheets. G10 has been updated. Now let's update H10. What did we have here? We had B2, B2, B2. Now we're going to have it updated to B3, B3, B3 for all the sheets. So let's have this changed to B3. This is B3 as well, and B3. Now for G11, what do we have it updated to? Right here we had B2, B2. It's going to be the next one because in column B3 is where we have the customer acquisition figures. So let's have this replaced B3, get rid of the F, and have that changed to B3. That's still a negative figure because our budget for customer acquisitions is 2,700. Having this actual figure of 2,580 means we've gone below our budget by $120. Now let's update this. For this, we used B2, B2, B2. For customer acquisitions, we're going to have that updated to B3. So it's that simple. Just have a good understanding of where the next KPI sits. B3. Press enter. So everything is in line. The conditional formatting is still applied. The numbers are still formatted with 0 decimals. And the percentages are set as percentage. Next up, average order value. We're going to copy the original total revenue card again and have it pasted in J6. But before we go on, let's quickly fix some errors we've got here. I'll first of all have this adjusted to 2.64, so it's uniform. This should be 2.64. If you don't want to go through the manual moving, you can easily have that adjusted by selecting column width and have that changed to 2.64. That is actually faster. Now, I said I was going to correct an error. Previous here is not spelled right. I wonder why I keep spelling it wrong. Previous ends with a S, not a D. You'll notice that the shapes of the KPIs are not the same. It has to be the same for it to be uniform. So I'm going to go back to adjusting this. Currently, we have this set to 20.18. I'm going to have this set to 20.18 as well. Yeah, we have to have it set like so. This is set to 9.55. We should have the same for this, 9.55. And this is set to 8.09. Yeah. So we need to make sure it's uniform. Now for the third card, I'm going to have this title changed to average order value. I'm going to update the formula in this cell to current period data B4. B4? Yes, B4. B4 is where we have the value for average order value. Yes, B4. I'm going to update all the formulas to B4 across board. And a final KPI for the top row, conversion rate. Copy the original total revenue card again, and we're going to have it pasted in N6. But before then, I'm going to insert extra columns just to create space for that, and have the width of column M reduced to serve as a divider. I'm going to have it reduced to 136. Yeah. Now, let's have this copied and pasted in column N. Again, I'm going to make sure the columns widths are the same. This is 20.8. I'll have that expanded to 20.8 as well. 20.18. I think that's what that is. Yeah. This is currently set to 9.55. Let's make sure that is set to 9.55 as well. And the last column is set to 8.09. I'm not going to waste time with that. I'm just going to go straight to the column with 8.09. Yeah, that aligns as it is. Now, in cell N7, change the title to conversion rate. For N9, update the formula to current period data B5. So this is going to be changed to B5 because that's where we have the figure for our conversion rate. B5, I believe. So if we go back to our current period data, B5 is where we have the current value, the current conversion rate. This is currently showing 0 because the cell has been formatted to 0 decimal places. But actually, it's a conversion rate, so it should not be formatted as currency, but percentage. So let's leave it at start. Now, let's update the comparison formulas by changing the row reference to B5. Excellent. Our entire top row of 4 critical KPI cards is now complete and perfectly formatted. We are making fantastic progress. Let's move to the bottom row for the remaining 2 KPIs. But before then, I think I'm going to quickly do an adjustment here just to make things look neater. Let's create this gap here. Let's delete it. Yeah. So if I have that deleted, close this up and then have the other rows hidden. We don't need to see them, just to give some structure to our dashboard. And then I have this closed up like so. Yeah, I'll do the same for this section. Now let's move to the bottom. I'm going to again copy the first KPI to use at the bottom. I'm going to have this reduced so we're able to see everything at a glance. This first KPI at the bottom is for new customer. So let's have the title changed to new customer. And in C16, update the formula to current period data B6. So this should be B6. The current value for a new customer is that amount as it is in the current period data. I'm going to have this indented just so the currency is close to the figure itself. Now we're going to update the comparison formulas by changing the row reference to B5. And there we have it for new customer. So it's the same process. Now for our final KPI card, customer retention rate, let's copy the one we used for customer acquisitions and have it pasted down below for customer retention rate. So I'm going to have this replaced to indicate that customer retention is really T rate. I'll have this formula updated to B7 because that's where we have the figure for customer retention. Why is that showing 0? Because our customer retention rate here is 0.13. Actually, we need to have that change to percentage, not what we currently have. And let's have the decimal places increased just so we have the figure shown. But it's still not showing. Because 0.13, we should be getting 13% shown here. And that is B7. I have that updated to B7. Oh, I know why it's showing 0. So we're referencing the wrong cell. We should be making reference to B7, not B17. That's my bad. So B7, and let's apply the same formatting as we have for the other rate. Now it's showing the correct figure. 13% customer retention rate for the current period. Now let's update the comparison formulas by changing the row reference to B7. I'm going to be careful this time so I don't reference the wrong cell. There we have it. Incredible. All 6 of our crucial KPI cards are now perfectly in place and fully functional. Now, for our 2 insightful charts, which will bring some powerful visualizations to our dashboard. We'll add 2 dynamic charts for a quick visual overview. First, the category mix. For simplicity in this tutorial, we will temporarily add our chart data directly to our current period data sheet. In a larger project, you might create a dedicated chart data sheet. So right here in the current period data sheet, let's ensure we have a small table for categories and their values starting in cell D1. So D1, I'll have category. D2, we have services. D3, products. D4, we'll have the subscriptions. And D5 is set to orders. Now, E1, I'll have value entered as the title. Give E2 the value 50,000. E3, 40,000 against products. 25,000 against subscriptions. And 10,000 against orders. Let's give that a title and have it formatted like so, just to make things neat. Back to our business dashboard sheet. Let's create another dark gray card, precisely sized for our chart. In cell K14, I will type in the title, category mix, and use the paintbrush to apply the same formatting as we have for the other titles. Now, for the chart itself, select the entire data range D2 to E5 right here. Go to the Insert tab. Under the Chart group, click on the Pie Chart drop-down and choose the Donut Chart option. Now for the detailed cleanup and styling for this chart, making it blend seamlessly into our dashboard, remove the chart title. We have a title on our card already, so it's redundant. Remove legend. Now let's add data labels and have it formatted. Right-click directly on one of the donut slices. Choose Add Data Labels. Now right-click on the newly added data labels and select Format Data Labels. In the Options panel that appears, uncheck Value and check both category name and percentage. For best readability, set the font color to white. So under the text options, click the drop-down for text fill and let's have it changed to white. Make the text bold. Now let's format the data series. Right-click on the donut chart itself, not the slice. Choose Format Data Series. Adjust donut all size to about 60. But let's reduce it further so the data labels fit in properly. Now, moving on to coloring. This is where our burgundy theme shines. We'll manually color each slice. Click on the largest slice individually, e.g. services. Go to Fill Color and have its fill set to burgundy. For the next largest slice, products, we're going to use a slightly darker variant. For subsequent slices, subscriptions and orders, we're going to use muted grays or even darker tones to create contrast and hierarchy. Now right-click on the chart's border itself. Scroll down to Format Chart Area and have the fill set to No Fill and border to No Border. So it blends seamlessly into a dark gray card background. Now I'm going to copy this chart or even cut it and have it placed carefully here. Close that up. I'll need to have this adjusted so it sits neatly inside the space we've created for it. We can reduce the values some more, or we just change subscriptions here to just SUSC. I mean, you can walk around this however you want. Yeah, so we can do that, and let's take it back to 8 because we want it readable. We'll leave it at 7. Great. Our first visualization is done. Let's add a second one, trend analysis. Following a similar process, we need its data. Go back to your current period data sheet. Starting from G1, I'll enter period as the title and performance on H1. For period, I have Jan, Feb, March, April. And for H2, I've got 300, 450 for Feb, 380 for March, and 520 for April. Now, let's have that formatted just like the other tables. Now, going back to the business dashboard sheet, I'm going to have this copied to use for the other visualization and adjust later. So we're going to have this changed to trend analysis. Let's go back to our current period data. Select the data range. Go to the Insert tab. Under the Charts group, click on the drop-down for column charts. Column charts is here. And choose clustered column or 2D column. I think I'm going to go with a 2D column. Let's say the one that would look really nice. Or 3D. Let's do a 3D. I'll go with this. Now, we're going to repeat the detailed cleaning and styling process for this chart to integrate it perfectly. Remove the chart title. Remove legend. Oh, legend is removed already. Remove grid lines. Now, right-click on one of the columns. Format data series. Set gap width to 80 for a thicker, more prominent columns. And we're going to set the fill color of the columns to our main burgundy. So, I think it's this. Yep. That's so beautiful and rich. Now, click on the vertical axis. Right-click, Format Axis. Set lines to no line. Set font color to white. So, under text option, the font color should be set to white and make it size 8. Now, click on the horizontal axis. Right-click, Format Axis. Set line to no line. Set the font color to white. So, text option, font color should be changed to white and have the size reduced to 8. Now, moving on to the chart area. Right-click on the chart border. Scroll down to Format Chart Area. Set the fill to No Fill and border to No Line. Start by resizing that here. Cut it and let's have it pasted in the space we have created for it here. But if you wish, you can create more space for your real life analysis. This is just for training purposes. All right. Right now, we have a beautiful dashboard, but it's static. It's just a picture. We want to make it alive. We want these buttons to actually switch our view between this month, last quarter, and year to date. Before we build this, I want to address something important. Since this is a dashboard design tutorial, we are working with a simplified, summarized data set. We don't have thousands of rows of raw historical transaction data to pull from right now. So, to simulate the quarterly and yearly views for this video, we are going to use simple multipliers, multiplying our month data by 3 for the quarter and by 12 for the year. If you were doing this at work, you wouldn't use multipliers. You would likely have a raw transactions tab and use formulas like SUMIFS or pivot tables to calculate the actual totals for last quarter or year to date. But here's the good news. The switching logic we are about to build is exactly the same. Whether you get your numbers from a simple multiplier or a complex SQL query, the way the dashboard displays them is identical. So let's build that engine. On your current period data sheet, let's create our 3 scenarios side by side. First, select your current data in column B, so B2 to B9. we're going to have it placed somewhere else. Before then, I'm going to have this moved to the side. Let's have it moved some more. So insert to the right. Yeah. Now, select your current data in column B. So B2 to B9. We have that copied and paste it in F2. Label cell F1 month data. Next, in G1, type quarter data. To simulate a 3-month quarter in G2, type the formula equals F2 times 3 and drag the formula down to G9. Then in H1, type year data. To simulate the full year, in H2, type the formula equals F2 times 12. Drag the formula down to H9. Now we have our 3 columns, our month data in F, quarter in column G, and the year data in column H. Let's have this formatted the same way as this table. Now we need to build the switch. Let's tell Excel which column to look at. Go to cell H1 and type 1. This cell is going to be our brain. Go back to column B. This is our active column that the dashboard is actually reading. We need to make this column smart. So in cell B2, type this formula equals to choose, the choose function, the cell H1, press F4 to have that locked. That's our index number, comma. Our first value is in D2, comma, then E2, comma, F2. Close the parentheses and press enter. Let's translate that. If H1 is 1, it picks the month column. If 2, the quarter column. And if 3, the year column. Now drag this formula down to B9. Let's test it out manually. Change cell K1 to 2. You see column B updates instantly. Now let's change it back to 1. Let's head back to our dashboard. Since our third data option is now representing the full year, calling it previous period is a bit confusing. Let's fix that. Click on this cell and let's have it changed to year to date. This makes it crystal clear to your boss or client that they are looking at the big picture numbers. Now, we don't want to type 1, 2, or 3 manually here in the current period data. We want the buttons to do it. We'll use macros. Don't worry, we are not going to write code. We are just going to be recording our clicks. So go to the developer tab. If you don't see it, right-click your ribbon and customize it to show developer. Click record macro. We're going to have it named show month. Make sure it's saved in this workbook and click OK. Now go to the current period data sheet. Click in cell H3, type 1, press enter, and then go back to your business dashboard sheet and stop recording. Now, for the second macro, we're going to go through the same step. Click record macro again. Let's have that named to show quarter. Click OK. Go to your current period data sheet. Select cell H1, enter 2, press enter. Go back to your business dashboard sheet and stop recording. Now, for the final macro, click record macro again. Have that named show year. Press enter. Go back to your current period data. In cell H1, type 2 and press enter. Go back to your business dashboard sheet and then stop recording. Now, for the final magic trick, linking these macros to our dashboard design. So go to the Insert tab, Illustrations, Shapes, Rectangle. Let's go with this rounded one. We're going to draw a rectangle that completely covers this month's button. So let's have that drawn here, like so. Go to Shape Format, set Shape Fill to No Fill, and then Shape Outline to No Outline. Now you have an invisible button. Right-click this invisible button, assign macro, select Show Month and click OK. Now copy that invisible shape with Ctrl C and paste it with Ctrl V. Drag it over last quarter button. Right click on it, assign macro, select Show Quarter and click OK. Now let's paste it one last time to use for the year to date button. Right click on it, assign macro and select Show Year. Now take a look at this. Click last quarter. Boom! Your numbers update to the quarterly view. Click year to date. Boom! You see the annual figures. Click this month and we are back at the start. We have just built a fully interactive professional grade dashboard engine. Now you can follow the same step to set up the data scenario for previous data and budget, just like we did for the current period data. And there you have it. You've gone from a blank sheet to a fully functional executive command center. You now possess a tool that doesn't just report numbers, it drives the conversation. Remember, the goal of a dashboard isn't just to look good, it's to provide clarity. With this dynamic setup, you can now answer the "Are we winning?" question in seconds, not hours. One quick technical reminder. Since we used macros for those dynamic buttons, make sure to save your file as an Excel macro-enabled workbook, so your buttons work perfectly every time you open it. If you found value in this strategic approach to dashboarding, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And let me know in the comments, what other complex business problems do you want us to simplify next? I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.